Is it necessary to send BPDUs out every single switch port? No, it's not. For example, those ports that go down to end stations, right here. Is it really necessary to send BPDUs out those interfaces? How will those interfaces be configured? They will be port fast enabled interfaces with BPDU guard turned on, meaning we don't expect to receive any BPDUs inbound on those interfaces. So why send BPDUs outbound on these interfaces here? We're, one, wasting CPU cycle, wasting resources. Two, sending out information about our spanning tree topology to end stations. And if somebody's savvy enough, they could gather that information and maybe get what they need to know in order to potentially launch an attack on our layer 2 spanning tree topology. So we could suppress those BPDUs with BPDUFilter to make sure that we don't send the BPDUs out those interfaces. What about when we have our network connected up to our service provider and we're doing layer 2 through the service provider's environment? Do I really want to share my spanning tree configuration BPDUs with the service provider? And does the service provider really want to share their spanning tree configuration BPDUs with me? No. No, we don't. So what we can do is we can set these up as port fast enabled ports, and we can shut off the sending of BPDUs out those interfaces. One, well, for security reasons. Two, so that way there we don't burden the service provider or the service provider burdens us with their BPDUs when it's unnecessary. So we can disable the sending of these BPDUs with the BPDU filter option, but be careful here. Just take a moment and step back, folks. There's the right way and the wrong way to do this. This is the wrong way. If you turn on BPDUFilter to suppress BPDUs at the interface level with this command, spanning tree BPDUFilter enable, you are shutting off spanning tree protocol. You are disabling it on that interface. It will not send BPDUs, and it will not even process BPDUs that are received on the interface. So by doing so, you are going to potentially cause a loop in your environment because that port will be forwarding no matter what. And therefore, if by chance a loop is created, you will have that loop in your topology because that port can't process BPDUs anymore. So a safer way is to use this global configuration command, spanning tree port fast BPDUFilter default. This will enable BPDUFilter on every single switch port that is also a port fast enabled port. However, it will only suppress the sending of BPDUs. It won't suppress the receiving of BPDUs. And this is valuable here. Because now we won't send BPDUs, wasting those CPU cycles, but if by chance a BPDU is received, we'll take action on that BPDU, preventing any chance of a loop from occurring within the topology. We have some verification commands we can see. Show spanning tree summary totals, show spanning tree interface Ethernet 0/0 details. So this will allow us to verify if BPDUFilter has been enabled globally, and this will verify if it's been applied to that particular interface. So in our topology, we will enable BPDUFilter on all port fast enabled ports. So global configuration mode, spanning tree, port fast, BPDUFilter, enable. Oh, let's see what they want. Default, there we go. So now it's enabled for all port fast enabled ports. So fast Ethernet 0/1 and 0/2. Let's verify that. We'll type in show spanning tree summary totals. And that is identifying that BPDUFilter is enabled globally for all port fast enabled ports. And if we type in the command show spanning tree interface fast Ethernet 0/1 detail, we'll see from this output that BPDUFilter is enabled by default. And we'll see the exact same output for fast Ethernet 0/2. So as a reminder, by enabling it globally, you will suppress the sending of BPDUs out those interfaces. But if a BPDU is received inbound on that interface, it will be processed. So right now, as you can see, we've sent 3,421 BPDUs at this interface. And that will happen every 2 seconds. But is it happening anymore? No, we're still at 3,421. Still at 3,421. So we've suppressed the sending of BPDUs.